Okay, progress on this 1 litre engine. So as you can see, we've got the cylinder head off. Considering that the cam chain stretched, or rather jumped, a considerable number of teeth because it had stretched, the pistons are remarkably clean. That one, number 4, has some slight evidence, as does number 1, of some impact. But as I'll show you just now, we've checked the run out. We've taken off all the cam gear, and in actual fact I think we've got enough room there now to, if we unbolt it from the gearbox, I think there's enough room there to slip the engine out without actually needing to drop the gearbox, which I would like to avoid if at all possible. So yeah, that's where we are with the engine. Anyway, yeah, we've got the strip cylinder head. As you can see, my son has taken out all the valves. These bits of paper just to block up the oil waste. I don't mind dirt getting in the waterways because we can blast that out, but we don't want dirt getting in the oil waste. So the next step is going to be, once we've checked the soundness, or rather the roundness of the valves, is going to be to relap the valve seats and then check that they don't leak. We'll either pull a vacuum on it, or we'll just simply put some water in there, make sure there's no leakage. And once they're lapped, and if they're sitting perfectly, then it should seal quite nicely. And this is the top of it. So yeah, so the valves go in there, or rather the valve stems protrude from here. Then the springs go on, and then the cam follows. But we will do a video showing the reassembly of the head nearer the time. Okay, you may be wondering what this video is about. So what I'm doing is I am checking for the roundness of this valve here. All right, so I don't know if you remember from one of my previous posts, I bought my son an ancient old Toyota Yaris for him to learn how to fix cars. So we've stripped the cylinder head off the car, and we stripped all the valves out of the cylinder head. Now the car suffered a catastrophic cam chain failure. And often in that case, what happens is that the valves come in contact with the pistons and they bend. Once they bend, they no longer seal properly, and in which case there's no ways the car will ever run properly. So generally we either have to have the head machined, or I need to get a new head. It's generally cheaper just to get a new head or a second-hand head. So what the setup was is I've got a drill mounted in a bench vise. I've checked the drill itself, the chuck itself, for trueness in terms of how round it is using this dial gauge. And now, as you saw from the beginning of the video when it started, I was rotating the valve, obviously by engaging the drill, and there was no movement on the dial gauge. And from a gap perspective, I've used this piece of paper a bit like a feeler gauge, so I know that that gap is that the dial gauge is touching the valve. If there was any significant out of round on that valve, we would have seen massive deflection on this dial gauge. So it's just an example of, you know, you don't need a fancy tool shop to do these things. Obviously the dial gauge and its stand are expensive bits of equipment, but I haven't got a lathe. I don't need it. You know, I just needed some way of turning that round in a true fashion, and you can make do with what you've got in your workshop. Right, thanks a lot. Bye.